Welcome to this talk. My name is Sarah. Let's see. I think it's a bit... Right, so I am a teacher actually, and I work at a secondary school in Sweden. I'm also a development manager, and I also teach at the University of Malmö. Up in Sweden, it's a lot of snow at the moment, so we will see if we are able to get home because the planes are not landing, so we'll see. Perhaps we have to stay here. Right, so I work with something called task-based language teaching. I teach English and I teach German as well. I'm also an ed tech. I work a lot with technology in my classroom, and my students are 13 till 16 years old. And yeah, so do you know task-based language teaching? Have you heard about that? Yeah. So what we do is that we create themes and we create tasks. And instead of, teaching grammar, grammar and textbooks and vocabulary, we create tasks instead, themes, right? You have heard about that, yeah. So I also work with something called Telecollaboration. Have you heard of that? No, you don't know about that concept? No. Right, that is pretty new when it comes to teaching, and Robert O'Dowd is a researcher, and you can Google him if you want to know more. He is the #1 in the area, and that is, you can also say, an online intercultural exchange. So we connect classrooms all over the world. I take my classroom and then I connect with classrooms in other parts of the world. Okay? Yeah. So, and there are other names for it as well, like virtual exchange or collaborative online international learning. I think that is actually the newest term. If you search for it, I think that you will find most of it there. So telecollaboration, I'm going to show you what we do. So I don't know what it's like in your countries, but in Sweden, people don't read. Students don't read. Do your students read? No, they do. If you see, look at my daughter, that is what they do. No, she's not even listening now. No, nothing. You see? That is what young people of today do, right? So, but what we have to do as teachers and mothers, we have to get them reading, because reading is important. Reading is very important. They just want to watch YouTube, they just want to watch Netflix, but books, they're really important to have them reading. So what I do in my classroom and what I teach other teachers to do is to motivate them to read. And there are a few of my favorites. I'm not sure if you're able to see it. The Absolutely True Diary of a Part-Time Indian. Have you read that book? Yeah. If you haven't, you have to. That is an amazing book. Once, written by Morris Gleitzman, is also a fantastic book about World War II. And all my slides, by the way, you can scan it afterwards. There is a QR code, and you can also find my slides on slideshare.net, so you don't have to take pictures. Right, so we read a lot in my classroom. Reading and books, that is the main thing. Literature. So I don't use text. I think that you're used to textbooks and vocabulary. Are you? Yes. Yeah. I don't do that. No. I do literature. Even when they are 13, 14, and 15 years old, I do authentic literature. So what we do now, a project that I am working with right now with my students, they will be starting, in an hour. 2 hours at home with a substitute teacher. That is called the International Reading Club. So we are reading that book, The Absolutely True Diary of a Part-Time Indian, and classes from Russia, Spain, Canada, the United States, India, and Sweden. We are working together and we're reading the same book and we're doing the same tasks and we're working with shared Google Docs. Do you work with Google Docs? Yeah. So that we teachers, we plan the project in shared Google Docs. And we also use Skype. You use Skype? Yeah. Okay. So, welcome. All right. So, what we do is that we're reading a few chapters. We take 3 chapters at a time, and then we talk about the chapters. We collaborate through Skype, and we also use a tool called Flipgrid. Have you heard about that? That is free. All the tools that I show you are free. Okay? So, and the books as well. Let's see if this is working. The books that we are reading are free as well. So if you want to read the book, you can find it online. Just search for the title. And what is good as well, when we are reading, all my students have their own computers. So they have a Chromebook. Do you have Chromebooks or do you have? Yeah. My students have their own Chromebooks. So we are reading online. And what is good as well, since they are studying a new language, audio is important as well. And here you can choose. You can listen as well. I'm not sure if there is sound.
The Black Guy of the Month Club. I was born with water on the brain. Okay, so that's not exactly true. I was actually born with too much cerebral spinal.
So what we do is that I have the text like this with my projector, and I also have the audio on. So we pause, talk about hard words and what the text is all about. And my students who struggle with learning, they love it because they can listen at the same time as they are reading. And they can also, when they come home, they can do it again and again, and they can listen. So, and what is good as well is that we can do it, you know, you don't have to have the book, because they tend to forget the books in school and they don't bring them to class. Or perhaps you have perfect students. No. So now they always have the book. Right. So reading is the main thing. And then we use Flipgrid and Skype in the classroom to connect classes from different parts of the world. So Flipgrid, I just checked this country, and I think there are only 2 or 3 teachers from your country. We will see. So this is what it works like. You put up a task for your students, and then they record videos. So, for instance, there are a few girls. Let's see if it's working.
Hello, my name is Rebecca and I'm 14 years old. I live in Hö in the very south of Sweden. Our school has a football academy and Sweden is very good because the people are very nice.
Okay, my name is Hilda and I'm 14 years old and I'm from Hö, and it's a small town in the middle of Skåne. I like our school because we have good teachers.
Right. So then what happens that we started, and then this week the schools from Russia and from India and the other countries, they're going to reply to my students, and they're talking to each other, like Which means that this is English for real. There is a real purpose when they are learning. It's not just reading in a textbook. They need to communicate, because otherwise they can't talk to the others. So there is a real and a true purpose with the tasks. That motivates the students as well. Sorry, I was going to show you. And in Flipgrid, you can just join. Are you teachers or? Yeah. So what you can do is that you can just create a free account, and then you can just jump right into any Flipgrid, which means that you can connect classes from all over the world very easily. So here you have Grid Pals, for instance, and here we can see, let's see, allow, let's see if there is someone in Dubai. Yeah, 2 Flipgrid teachers to connect with if you want to work with someone here. Otherwise, you can just zoom in and out and find teachers all over the world to connect your classes with. Do you get it? Yeah. So, and then you can just see whoever you want to work with. And you can also find topics which you can connect your students with. So if you want to work with read alouds or Martin Luther King, or you can just choose. Or there is anything to work with, a lot of different topics to work with. And you can create your own grids as well, which you can make public or you can have them closed. These are my topics. Do you understand how it works? Yeah. My students really like this. At first they are really shy, so you have to practice. Okay, and tell them. I also talk a lot to my students about how to behave. Are your students very well behaved here? No, we have to work in our country. We have to work a lot with, classroom management. Okay, and I talk to my students about, okay, now we represent our country and we represent our school. So that means that you have to sharpen up a bit. Okay? So classroom management is a big thing in Sweden at the moment. We struggle with that. So that was Flipgrid. 30 minutes is just such a short time. I also work a lot with Skype in the classroom. Have you worked with Skype in the classroom? No? Skype in the classroom is amazing to work with. What you can do is that you can also connect your classes with virtual field trips, or just a mystery Skype, or with guest speakers, and everything is for free as well. So I have gone to a lot of different field trips. For instance, we were working with a project in Kenya, and then we went via Skype to Kenya. Kenya, is that how you say that country? Yeah, sorry. And the guy, he walked around his place with an iPad, teaching my students how to, they were working with water and how to help poor people, no, I'm not sure how to say this in English, to fix water with the germs, so they're able to drink the water. And my students were like, what? Where is the tap? There is no tap, for the water. So they were like amazed because they haven't seen that before. And they didn't know that the children, they died because of the water. So, and that is very easy. You have your projector and you just connect with the virtual field trip and a guest speaker, and they can learn different things, you know, from other parts of the world. And there is also Mystery Skype. Mystery Skype is a game. Have you played the game 20 Questions? Do you know what that is? Where you ask questions and you're only allowed to say yes or no. So this is what you do with Skype as well. So let's say if we are working together, we connect our classes, and then are they playing the game. So my class starts with like, do you live in Europe? And the other class says yes or no. And then they need to Google and try to find where the other class is. So that means let's see what happened. Yeah. So, and the class that first can guess where the other class is wins. And the students, they really, really like it. And they're really motivated by this. So we combine digital tools with English and also geography. Okay? Great, yeah, thank you. And guest speakers, and everything is for free. And you can just find just anything. And there are lesson plans as well. And everything is for free, which is really good. Swedish schools don't have any money, no? Do you have money at your schools? No, we have no money. We have to go for the free stuff, right? Yeah. Right. Okay, and Seesaw is another digital tool that is also for free. It works on computers, iPads, anything. And I think that Seesaw is a better tool to start with if you have shy students. You cannot jump straight into Flipgrid because they're shy. They don't want to publish themselves until they feel comfortable. So Seesaw is the tool that we start with. And there is, I can adjust so that it's only me who can see. So you record a video and I watch it, and then we start like this. They get feedback from me, and then we move on. So it's me who gives feedback, and then classmate gives feedback, and then we jump into Flipgrid. Do you see? So me, the class, the world, right? So this is also what we did. We read the book, The Perks of Being a Wallflower, which is a very famous book as well. And then they recorded videos where they talked about a section of the book.
The Perks of Being a Wallflower, after reading part 1. And I have took a picture on my phone so I know the question. So if you're confusing that I look on my phone.
He's talking to me now.
The questions right there. In the book, there is an incident where Charlie's sister gets slapped in the face by her boyfriend. Well, what do you think about the situation? So I think the situation is really bad that someone can hit a girl, and my father has always told me to not hit girls, and I think that too.
Yeah, he thinks that too. So he is recording this at home, and some of my students, when they are shy, this boy, he is at school, he's a bit tough, but he doesn't dare speaking. But at home now, he speaks and he tries, and he has really, he has improved a lot because he can do this at home. He closes his door and he is on his own, and it's only the two of us working together. So now he dares speaking in class as well. Since we started with, recording themselves at home, Now he has really improved. And Seesaw is very easy to use as well. You create an account and you just press the plus sign. There are, you can choose from different tasks that other people, you see? You can just steal or borrow, whatever word you prefer, what other teachers have done, or you can create your own. I think this is an amazing tool, actually. And also, I think that I can listen at home or whenever I want to. I think it's pretty stressful as a teacher, you know. I have like 30 students in one class. I'm not sure if you have more, but 30 students, and I need to run around and listen to them. Now they record themselves and I am able to listen. And I think that is better, actually, because I'm not stressed and I am able to assess them in a calm way. How much more time do I have? Like an hour?
10 minutes.
10 minutes. Normally I speak for 3 to 4 hours, and now I feel stressed.
If you want to take questions, you have 10 minutes.
Okay, all right. So I can really recommend Seesaw. That is and it's very easy for the students to use as well. They just press the plus sign, you know. Do you work with Google Classroom? No, you don't use that? No, never mind. Okay. So, reading is the main thing, but also creating projects that has a purpose, a true purpose. I said that, right? So this is what we did. We worked with the global goals for the United Nations. Have you heard about the global goals? Yeah. And I think that working with global goals and a sustainable future is very, very important, because the students are our future. And what we did in this project was that we connected my class with a class in Tanzania, and the teacher there, had 100 students, and they had one computer, and only half of the screen was working. But she was determined to do this because she wanted her students to learn and to see other parts of the world. So we connected and we had this project together where we worked with global goal number 14, which is life below water. Sorry. And we worked with Skype. So she had all her 100 students on the floor, and my students, they were like this, because they had never seen anything like that before. And the students in Tanzania, they had never seen anything like that, you know, students sitting, you know, in classrooms. So we worked with shared Google Docs as well. And the aim was to teach the students and their families in both countries about the problems with plastic pollution. In both countries and all over the world, that is a very, very big problem with plastic pollution. So my students went to our politicians and talked to them, what can we do in our country? And then we applied and we got a grant, we got some money. So I, a colleague, and 3 students, we were able to go down there. So we had a project together. So we taught them at the school about the plastic pollution. So we cleaned the beach and we talked to them about not to throw things. And the headmaster at the school, she thought that this was an excellent project. So she, what's that word in English? A basket? No, what is that? Where you throw, so she bought a lot of those, and also more water so that the kids could wash their hands, for instance. And then they were able to come to Sweden, and the headmaster told us that the children now, they're not sick anymore. That has gone down because they're able to wash their hands, and that was because of our project. They didn't do that before. So what we did was that we created this film together.
Ocean will soon be dead because no one takes care of it. No one is responsible of the ocean, which is a big problem.
If we don't do anything, the ocean will have more plastic than fish in the year 2015.
The nature can't break down the plastic waste, so fish eat the plastic. Then we eat the fish, and it's a never cycle.
If you see this film, show the teacher so the teacher can teach you about the golden girls.
If you are a student or a parent, think down for it. Throw something in the oceans. Stop plastic pollution.
I'm sorry about that sound, but you can, if you go to YouTube, you can find that video on my YouTube channel. So, as a conclusion, digital tools connect your classroom to the world, but use them wisely. A digital tool itself does not have an impact on teaching. The teacher makes the difference, not the digital tools. We make the difference with our teaching, right? A lot of politicians, they think that if we just give the students computers and iPads, it will be a hallelujah moment. And I say, no, that won't happen, because you have to teach them anyway. And in Sweden, we have a problem that they go to the computer and they watch YouTube instead of what the teacher tells them. So we have to create tasks and themes that motivates them, and it's hard, YouTube versus language teaching. Well, but we can do it. And that is also, any teacher who can be replaced by a computer should and deserves to be, because we make the difference, not the computer. So, questions? Yes?
Hi, thank you very much, that was fantastic. I really, really enjoyed it, and I'm from Pakistan, Lawrenceburg from Pakistan, and I was really interested in your map because I saw one little star on the flip grid. Mm-hmm. I think it was down in Karachi, so I'll follow that up. I just wanted to ask you a quick question about the use of Flipgrid and how it's supervised. So, like with kids, sort of, are they chatting in a forum together, or is there a teacher sort of monitoring that? I picked this up when you talked about Seesaw for more shy kids.
Yeah.
I wondered about the vulnerabilities and how we would manage that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I really get your question, but you can monitor Flipgrid as well. Yeah. And you have different, you can be totally open if you want to, and you can limit it if you want to. Yeah, that is in the settings. Yeah. So sometimes depending on my classes, some classes I need to limit. Yeah, and some classes are open. I think you understand it. And I will be here, so you can talk to me afterwards, and I can show you if you want to.
Okay, thanks very much.
Yeah.
I just have one more question. if I may,
Yeah.
we didn't get a chance to ask the previous keynote distinguished guest question. May I ask? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and it's kind of connected, yeah? For those of us who work with these high-stake curriculum providers like Cambridge, the International Baccalaureate, they have these very sort of rigorous, tightly controlled examination-based systems. How can we somehow get into more project-based learning? Like, what advice would you give us in that regard? Because it seems we love project-based learning, we love getting kids online, but sometimes we're restricted by these curricula, by international providers that don't allow us to do that. What would be your take on this?
I think there's a question of policy here. So you need to actually educate those people at that level and explain to them the meaningfulness and the reality and the need for project-based learning and what it has accomplished. If you just go back and see the research and the evidence of the advances that have been made rapidly to project-based learning, like Sarah was showing some of this, what's happening with the kids with the technology.
Yes.
Kids are able to absorb technology much faster than older people, with less hair and white hair and so on. So you find that we are a little slow in making the change, the psychological change to adopt these. Whereas the Z generation, the younger generation, they're very open and they're very malleable. They're very flexible and they're very eager to imbibe and absorb and apply technology very rapidly in their curriculum and their learning. They like that very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Yes?
My name is Mohammed Belawa from Nigeria. Thank you so much for your presentation. And really, the last part of your presentation, the conclusion, has given me hope that teachers are the one making change, not the digital tools. In my country, Nigeria, for instance, we are so poor, let me put it this way, technologically wise. And going by the culture, children are not even allowed, they don't have access to even ordinary handsets because the parents are so scared for not being exposed into some nuisance. Now, the see and sow technique cannot work there. And we have serious challenge in terms of reading. What we do there is what we call read aloud strategy. Read aloud strategy. I don't know whether that has been applied in your own country and how useful do you think that strategy can go in improving reading abilities of our children? This is the question.
Sorry, I didn't really get the question. Can anyone help me? Huh?
In my country, because we have challenge in reading.
Challenge, yeah.
Yes, we now adopt what is called read aloud strategy.
Yeah.
Whereby the pupils are being encouraged to read, and through reading they now have some motivations. And I don't know whether that is also applicable in Sweden. That is the question.
It's a hard question. I'm not really sure if I got it correctly, but we have challenges as well, and I don't know how to answer. I'm sorry, I don't know how to answer this question. Can we talk afterwards, you and me?
Okay, we'll talk.
Yeah.
I just want to say just one quick, make a quick point here. See, we are from there's a whole range of economical backgrounds we have even in this room. We can talk about technology, we can talk about all these things, and we're blue in the face. But the fact is that there are situations and theaters and locations where we don't have technology. You still have to adopt some of these advances, but they can be done even physically without technology, where technology is actually an enabler, but like she said, we are the teachers. So ultimately, it's the teaching and the commitment we have in the level of engagement to get students to learn and become self-learners, they become highly motivated. Once that happens, technology becomes very easy and it's going to happen. It's not far away, and because of international aid and lots of other non-profit organizations coming in the picture. It's going to happen, but the first thing is to imbibe the principles and get the students to be self-motivated, self-disciplined, and wanting to learn. So that for that we have to be creative, we have to be good teachers.
I think that the lady, yeah.
Thank you very much. I really appreciated that very robust teaching. Okay, I'm from Nigeria, Covenant University, and in my institution, we engage a lot of ICT tools and all of that. So all students are encouraged, in fact, they all have tabs, iPads and stuff, and then they come to class with their iPads and their laptops. So our notes are uploaded on Moodle platforms and some other platforms where the student can access them. We also encourage to use the YouTube thing and all of that. So seeing these new tools that one can also apply is something that I would have to take back also. But one challenge we've always had is I also keep the class engaged when everybody is with their tool. So you have the students with their tabs and you think they're looking at your note. You don't know someone is playing a game, someone is watching something else and all of that. So so how do you really get them engaged? Because sometimes you have a class of up to 50 students, 60 and all, and they all have their tabs. They are supposed to be connecting with you on the lecture note, but they are doing other things. How do you keep them engaged in what you're doing?
That is hard. It is hard. When it comes to classroom management, I always have, when I talk, it has to be dead quiet. So no screens, no tablets. When I give instructions and when I am in charge, I am the boss. That is very important that they know. So they cannot have their computers open. They cannot watch while I am talking or when someone else is talking. If a classmate is talking, screens down, we listen. And I am very strict. And I have 30 students. You said you have 50. That is tricky, I would say, but we have to, I think that instructions are important and, to keep, no screens when we are talking, classroom management. And when they are working, I sometimes go to the back of the classroom because then I can see their screens. So I stand at the back of the classroom to watch them.
Well, thank you for that. I just want a little small thing here. The thing is that there's something called body language. You look at the students who are constantly looking at the screen, not looking at your face, then something's wrong. You just go and call the student, ask, what did we just talk about? Ask the person to get up and discuss what we talked about. So they'll be very careful. Next time they'll be more engaged. So I think you have to be aware of the body language.
Yeah, and it has to be, communication. If I stand and if I am talking, for 40 minutes, they will be at YouTube straight on. It has to be. Right, there are a lot of
questions here. We can 5 minutes. Just 2 more questions.
Okay. Foto.
Thank you very much. My name is Rio. I'm studying postgraduate in Wageningen University in Netherlands, and actually I don't have any background in teaching, but I really like your presentation about SDGs project. I'm curious to what extent, because you work with other country, the language gap, for example, they don't speak English as a primary language, right? And also the internet gap facility impacted your project in that. And how the UN, because you said that you get grant from the UN, if I'm not mistaken, assess the impact of your project.
How I got the money?
How they assess you. You got the money, but they need to monitor and also evaluate you, right?
That is a Swedish, to get the grant, that is just for Sweden. Okay, I'm sorry about that. So then that is very easy. I'm not sure if you have that in your countries, but we have.
So it's not from the UN?
No, the global goals are from the UN. Yeah, and that is free, and you can just search for the global goals, but the money is just from the Swedish government.
Okay, and then my question, how the Swedish government can assess?
They don't. I write a report, and that's it. It's very easy.
Okay. And then my first question?
Sorry, I didn't get that one.
To what extent the language gap?
The language gap. Yeah, I try to connect countries that don't have English as a first language. So I don't work with the United States or the United Kingdom, for instance. I work with other countries. So, and so I worked with Spain as well, and that was pretty hard because the Swedish students are very good at English. And, you know, so you have to find a country like the Netherlands, for instance, or, you know, where the countries are pretty much at the same level, I think.
This gentleman had a question.
Yeah.
My name is Lexon from Zimbabwe. I've got a background of education and technology. I want to make a follow-up question regarding classroom management. When technology is being used, you said you are going to be standing maybe at the back of the classroom to monitor those who will be, like, from time to time switch to their gadgets. But the other purpose of technology is to cater for different learning styles. Some students or learners would actually need to record what you will be talking about, then they will play back later. How are you going to resolve that?
I think this is hard as well because I have trouble hearing problems. I am very sorry about these questions. I didn't really get it again. What can you say your question again?
The last part of the question.
Yeah.
The last part of my question.
I am sorry, I just can't.
It's like you had said you're going to monitor.
Monitor?
How students will be responding to your lesson. At the same time, having divided attention to their gadgets. So my worry is in that scenario. Different students have got different learning styles. During your session, maybe some students may be recording what will be discussing in a classroom. So they are bound to switch to their machine to check the progress of their recording. So if you say screens off, how are you going to cater for those who are such kind of a group?
He was talking about learning styles.
Yeah.
He's basically saying that different students have got different learning styles. Some are auditory, you know, they like to listen. Some like to read. Some, you know, like to do things and so on, like in project-based learning. So how do you cater to people with different learning styles? Basically, I think that's what he was asking.
Well,
particular case.
We
transfer the knowledge of English to the language.
You say so hard questions, all of you. Well, I'm just a simple language teacher. I am not a researcher. Well, what I do, I tell them, I don't work with different learning styles because in Sweden we have that is a myth. We say that doesn't exist with different learning styles. So, but that is a different question. So actually, if I tell them to talk and to record themselves, they do. And if, you know, they do. And I don't know how to.
Excuse me, Sarah. You are already using three learning styles. Yeah. You are using three types of teaching. You are a good actor, a good focal person, and you are using the technology. You are dealing with three learning styles, that is audio, visual, and gesture. You know?
I think what is left is the actual writing, you know, the letters coming on. And some people like that. They like to read. You know, that's why you have those. Exactly. So you have the text coming.
I myself as a practical learner, I can learn. I can grasp the basic concept while I write by myself.
Yeah.
The reading and the writing are the styles of learning, but while in my to the context, if I have grasped your idea, the teacher can the teacher can speak and the student can write, and the teacher can help to correct the spellings and to correctly pronounce the word if I'm right.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you can cater, you can teach in 2 or 3 types of learning styles, but not all at the time. For capturing the students for special attention, she said they are welcome on the individual learning style, isn't it?
Yeah, sort of. Yeah, sort of.
Yeah, you're right. You're actually, without realizing, perhaps using 3 different styles simultaneously. Visual, showing all those graphics, and then getting them to talk to each other. So I think it's helping them.
Everyone is talking at the same time.
The different styles, she's making a little strategy behind it, because she's telling the norms before to all the students, and she's managing the classroom along with it. So she's actually, I think everyone can.
Yeah. You're a teacher, right? Yeah. Yeah, I can hear that.
And even I don't need a tool. Nobody advises me. So, like to have a learning style or to cater the need analysis, a teacher, she's so much frank with the students, she can get it within few minutes that what is the need of the child, and she can very intelligently she can cope up with the strategies and the learning styles and all that. So we all answer your question.
Yeah. I am sorry.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay. I will stay. If there are any other questions, I will stay.